Hey,
Hey there.
Hey.
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 My name's
Leah.
Leah.
Say that again.
We're talking over each other.
Let's take turns just this once.
Hey,
My
my name's
Hannah.
Leah. My name's Leah.
Rachel,
Hannah.
Zoe.
Lily May.
this is a play.
Kind of. Also not a play.
Let's not worry about what this kind of thing's called.
What we might have started to call it.
This thing we've always done whenever we get together.
Whatever we've started to call together.
And some of us watch and listen.
And some of us speak and listen.
Whatever we're calling this right now,
This
this
is one of those.
those.
It's meant to take place.
Wherever it takes place.
It's meant to take place.
Here.
Which could mean you're wherever you are.
And everyone else is wherever they are.
Joining together our hears to make a single hear.
Bolting them edge to edge on a screen.
Like self-assembly plastic storage boxes for human heads.
And if that's true, then let's tell you about our own worlds outside these boxes.
I'm in my room and it's messy.
Or maybe even just maybe that we're all in the same big box.
All in the same air.
That I can look you in your actual eye, your actual human glistening, sticky to touch, see it blink, human eye.
Imagine that, if that's not what we're doing. If we're still at the heads in boxes stage.
Imagine us all in that space. How's it going to feel?
When it finally happens.
Because it will happen.
And if it has happened, if we are all together in a room,
With air and eyes and all the sounds.
The small sounds of bodies that microphones don't notice.
And speakers don't transmit.
Take a moment to think back to the time.
That lost age of months or weeks or even just days ago. When we couldn't do this.
When our bodies were quiet.
or at least made noises only we could hear.
When maybe the only clue to our actual existence.
Our real world existence.
Was when we froze, we glitched.
Or had to leave and return while we stayed in the exact same place.
Weird, isn't it?
How, whatever you're doing now,
How whatever way we're doing this now.
Can so quickly become the only way to do it.
The only way we've ever done it.
I guarantee you, even though some things might be different,
The distance between us, if we're in a room,
The tension in the room that was never there before.
or the lag of different broadband speeds.
the colour and closeness of the walls around us.
we still find it hard to imagine.
That we used to do this any other way.
Or that the way we're doing it will change.
Anyway, this play, this poem, this thing,
What we're calling what's happening doesn't matter.
But it has a name, apart from that.
And the name is
Hold Out Your Hand.
That's what was printed at the top of the document they gave us. It was printed in bold to seem important.
say this is a title.
We're not so into that.
Hold out your hand.
We're not into that.
I mean, we get it, we're not stupid, we get it that someone thought it sounded hopeful.
Connection and contact.
But it's a bit thin, isn't it? A bit on the bland side, a bit filled the kind of.
The kind of empty optimism that's just meant to get us through this.
Like something you'd say to a child, crossing a road, or maybe walking down unfamiliar streets to a funeral.
Or something feels kind of unfocused.
Almost as if it was a compromise. Like the guy thought, I want to make something about getting through this. But just that.
Not about doing, but about being there.
About reassurance and how everything is
Going to be okay.
How if we are just here for each other.
Everything is going to be okay.
So, hold out your hand, he thought.
That'll do. except it won't.
It could have been, and this is no disrespect.
Honestly, mate, we're saying these words, aren't we?
No disrespect, but
It could have been a better title.
What about The Forgotten Months?
Head in a box.
or this street has never been so silent,
Or Hope.
Or everything's gone to crap.
or can we just take a chill pill?
Or Rise Up?
Or why is everything so sad? Something that says clearly,
What's happened in the many shades
Of feeling from relief to joy.
The deepest sorrow to total fury it's possible to feel about it.
And whoever wrote this, for example,
I mean, I'm sure it's a man, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a man.
I'm sure he would agree that there's no way he can really get in our heads.
There's a lot he doesn't know.
a lot he doesn't want to guess.
a lot he thinks he knows, but knows is wrong.
And the rest of it he's making up.
He wouldn't know. How could he?
That the lowest point of this year for me was missing out half the school year.
And the highest point for me was playing the trumpet every Thursday night for the NHS clap. I mean, how could he know that?
But anyway, here we are.
Probably when this is happening, when we're saying this, when you're hearing this.
We're still a bit spooked, still a bit scared of touching each other.
Everyone just feeling a bit like we've been walking down a corridor that's lined with cheap carpets.
And we're about to touch a door handle.
Most of us have learned to live our lives like we're ghosts.
As the world changed around us, in ways it never has before.
Ways that we had to find words to describe.
It was like the door slamming shut behind you.
And realising you're not locked out.
You're locked in. No, that's not it.
It was like a montage in a film, except instead of moving the story on, it repeated the same few frames over and over.
No, that's not it either. It was like waiting for a bus, except the timetable was blank and the numbers on the board kept changing.
I think we should try this one ourselves.
It was like we're reading a story in class and the teacher decided to stop in a really good cliffhanger.
It was like a race that would never end and you just kept going round in circles.
It was like a zombie apocalypse. People fighting over toilet roll.
That's what it was like.
Maybe it still is.
So,
Anyone else been having really weird dreams?
Don't worry.
We're not going to tell you about our dreams.
Except I had this dream.
we literally just said.
We literally just said this wasn't going to happen.
Just one. Let me tell you, just one.
Okay.
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 I had a dream that the numberjacks were after me. They catfished me and it was really creepy.
No, that's not it.
I had this dream where Spooky Spoon was chasing me.
That's not it either.
I just dreamed that 100 men, like Cybermen, were chasing me in lines of 5x5.
Okay.
Look, I know this guy's not good at titles, but maybe, just maybe, he can give us a shared dream to tell you.
Maybe we can trust him that much.
To give us one useful dream.
It's worth a try.
So I had this dream where I was walking outside, but it wasn't my outside. As in, not what I'd see
If I went out the
door.
door, it was an outside that differed in certain very important respects from anywhere I'd normally find myself. It was huge.
For one thing, there were no streets or houses, the sky not just a ribbon stretched out over the road, glimpsed between the artificial horizons, made by buildings closing in. It was
Bigger
even
even. The landscapes without buildings, wider than moorlands, more distant than the glimpse you get sometimes of distant hills.
The ground was flat, not grass flat or rock flat or artificial car park flat, but the flat of
An
an
afternoon spent
Looking out of a window at a leafless.
winter tree.
and the ground the colour of the light fading on a wasted day.
And the sky thrown over like an overwashed bedsheet.
and the sun invisible, light just seeming to come from every direction.
No shadows, no bright.
And me. Not even in the middle of this, because there is no middle.
If you can't see the edges.
Just there, like in my body.
I was definitely in my body.
I was absolutely, definitely me.
Wearing my clothes.
My height, my hair, my skin.
Standing on that empty ground.
In a colourless dream version of my everyday shoes.
I stood there for a long time.
Is that it? Is that the dream?
No, I was just doing a long time.
Sorry.
It's okay. I stood there for a long time. And I thought,
Do you ever think in dreams?
It's really difficult.
but I thought,
The world's gone.
and then I thought about,
That was true.
and at that moment, it felt true.
Then really, what's been lost?
I didn't really feel grief.
I didn't really feel happiness.
There were many things I'd miss.
There were many things I was glad to lose.
I guess it kind of balanced out.
Into a state of mind.
It felt like the landscape looked.
I was sad to lose being in some part of a city.
On my own, feeling not knowing.
Feeling unknown.
But I was glad to lose the eyes of strangers on me.
I was glad to lose having to think about.
How I was going to dress.
The worry of what might be thought of me.
I was sad to lose a reason to get dressed at all.
It was sad to lose some kinds of touch.
But I was glad to lose some other kinds of touch.
I was sad to lose seeing friends.
I was sad to lose the hugs from loved ones.
I was glad to lose the inability to cook.
I was glad to lose having to wake up early, but I was sad to lose a reason for waking up early.
But most of all, I think it was control.
I was sad to lose control.
It was like the whole world was a mug that had just been dropped.
You know, that moment.
When you've just made a drink and everything's right in your life.
Then for some reason,
For some completely stupid reason.
the mug's not in your hand.
And your fingers flash through empty air.
And for a frozen fraction of a second.
The whole thing's just laid out before you. There's nothing you can do.
But watch it spinning progress to the floor.
Well, the way you feel in that moment.
Like a bystander at an accident.
Except the accident's your life.
That's the way the dream felt.
Standing there in all that emptiness.
Except
Except, and this is important,
Except this isn't
Real life.
In real life, the mug was dropped.
somewhere unknown, the other side of the world.
nature had made us a cup of tea.
And we'd fumbled it.
We were standing in the universe's kitchen.
Watching everything we'd carried fall, tumbling to the tiles.
Who knew the universe had a tiled floor, eh?
Caught in a frozen moment of not knowing.
Waiting to see if the rules we'd lived by.
The structures we thought were solid, so much we'd forgotten they were there.
Waiting to see if they would break or bounce.
Out of our control.
Nothing we could say to stop the fall.
But in the dream, in this strange world,
The falling, the feeling of it.
Was not an action taken or not taken.
Was not an accident.
Was not the world happening without me.
I realised as I stood there, it was a choice.
in the dream there was a feeling that I had no control.
I was in control of it,
Of the feeling of not being in control.
which meant I could choose.
I could choose not to feel it.
It was just me.
No rules, no landscape.
No buildings, no rocks.
No responsibilities, no work to do.
Everything waiting, everything suspended.
And only me there. Meaning, no matter what my life outside the dream was like,
Everything in it was my choice.
And I wasn't used to that.
I was not used to that at all.
I stood there just waiting.
waiting for something to happen.
And slowly, it crept up on me. Fearful, yeah, but also kind of thrilling.
Nothing was going to happen.
Nothing was going to happen.
Nothing was going to happen.
Unless I made it happen.
And so,
I held out my hand.
All right, that's the tale.
Makes sense, but I still don't like it.
Anyways, I held out my hand, and absolutely nothing happened. I guess I thought once I realised.
That what happened was in my power.
I figured it would come easy.
like, hold out your hand and
BAM! There's a... What?
bam! There's a fountain.
A fountain?
I don't know. It was the first thing that came to my head.
A fountain.
Okay, bam! There's a fluffy cloud.
Bam! There's a shopping trolley.
Bam, there's a Papa Smurf.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I thought it'd just flow.
Like film magic, like game magic.
Like, the power in me was point and click.
But it didn't. I had to really think about it. I had to start off simple.
Which seemed a bit unfair. It was my dream after all.
But apparently, I didn't make the rules. I collected myself.
I held out my hand.
I started simple.
And I thought,
Blue. It doesn't get more simple than that.
Blue of sky, I thought.
And I closed my eyes. And I opened them.
And something had almost happened.
There was still flatness.
well, nothing, but maybe, just maybe.
It was a slightly bluer nothing than before.
Thing is, I could feel the power.
Like a spring inside me. Both kinds of spring. I mean, the water and the metal kind.
Like it was gushing out.
Also winding up
And the way to be in charge.
of both of those things at once.
Was to use them both. Think simple. Think blue. Let it flow out.
But also keep the tension, the direction.
By answering the question, what kind?
I thought, blue, but this time thought,
The blue of the sky.
And not just any sky. All skies are blue.
The blue of a sky seen in summer.
When you've been up all night.
maybe you've climbed up on a roof.
You're the highest point in your surroundings.
And the horizon you can see.
Knows the sun's on its way.
But not for a while.
No clouds or anything.
No lights on in any of the houses.
And just at the end of the dark.
There's a blue that says morning's coming.
That blue, I thought, that one.
And I held out my hand.
And I stretched my fingers wide.
I close my eyes, open my eyes.
And the blue in my head was the whole world.
And the world was still simple.
Featureless and flat.
But that hopeful, gentle blue of almost morning was laid across it and within it.
Like it had always been there.
And it felt strange. This was all sounding a bit weird, I know.
This is all sounding like some mystical experience. But it wasn't that. It wasn't.
The strange feeling of magic, of fantasy, of extra dimensions and portals.
Of alien worlds opening up.
It was the strangeness of this world, even this simple world.
The simple landscape from inside me.
Being within my control.
Being mine to command.
One decision that was mine.
And then
It was a dream.
Yeah, I know it was a dream.
What happened then?
I woke up. Same room.
same room in the same house.
Same house on the same street.
Same street in the same town.
Same town, the same country.
Same river flowing into the same sea.
Same carpet, same curtains that don't quite close.
Same splash of paint on the back door.
Same clothes in the same pile.
Same sun at the same angle.
Lighting up the same spot in the same poster.
Same sounds from outside.
Same voices from inside.
Same voice inside me.
Same day repeating again and again.
Same planet crawling through the same space.
Same screen in my hand, telling me.
The same half-fake information.
The same hysterical guesswork.
The same words spelling from the same faces.
Same opinions on the same subjects.
The same arguments over the same action.
The same stale food chewed over.
By the same tired mouths.
While the same stale power.
Grasped in the same stale hands.
Drummed in the background.
Like the noise of a distant factory.
Turns out, that's the way the dream feels.
It isn't a dream.
And this is what I think we're here to say.
As far as I can tell.
That feeling being swept up.
Events you can't control.
The weather patterns change.
And the hospitals fill up.
And the future you wanted.
Seems to melt under your hands.
Being swept up in all that, in all your smallness.
But at the same time, being so very still.
It's not some imaginary landscape.
It's the way life feels the now.
In a year from now, I want to be able to go on holiday.
In a year from now, I want to be in a better mental state.
In a year from now, I want to sit my grade 4 trumpet exam.
And now, right now,
Not the day some guy's writing these words.
Late at night in the corner of some far city.
but right now, in this room,
Or through this screen in all these rooms.
That future world still feels untouchable.
we're not despairing.
Please don't think that we're despairing.
We're just saying parts of the life we want.
Still feel like dreams.
Still feel lost in a landscape we're standing in, wondering what happens next.
But we remember
We're still remembering.
the spring.
And the spring, the power to hold tight.
And the power to let go.
How in the dream we knew that the world didn't just act on us.
We could act on it.
So there's a focus we could find.
Inside ourselves.
And then, together,
Hold out your hand.
There's power in it. Hold out your hand.
I still don't like that title.
I know, but we've come this far.
and anyway, we've not just been handed it. We can do what we like.
We can make whatever this is. We can make it into something of our own.
Carry on our own terms.
Are you ready?
Here goes.
Whether we're saying these words,
While we breathe the same air,
Or we look at different screens.
Whether we've become miles to be together.
Or we're miles apart and all together.
if we can't say what we want this world to be,
Then we're alone.
trapped in our own dreams.
Hold out your hand.
This is how it starts.
Trick of that is realizing we don't have to dream it.
Hold out your hand. And let it break out of the landscape.
through the edge of the monitor,
Through the distance between us.
Touch doesn't have to be touch.
to still count as connection. Hold out your hand.
We're still in the dream.
Still in that landscape, even when we're awake.
Feeling alone, lost in it.
No markers to guide us.
No roads to guide us.
No history to guide us.
But
Hold out your hand.
Feel the power in it.
Remind yourself this land.
This uncharted land.
Is yours as much as anyone's.
put a marker in the ground.
Doesn't have to be nearby.
Somewhere you'd like to be.
A year from now.
Something you'd like to achieve.
10 years from now.
Some change you'd like to see.
Tomorrow.
Doesn't matter.
The important thing is,
It starts with you.
The important thing is
Even in these times of isolation.
Even in these times of confusion.
Even in these times of repetition.
Even in these times of repetition.
There's togetherness and change.
and there's choice in what we do with it.
One decision that is mine.
And the choice to share it.
So we're sharing this.
the friendships.
The laziness.
The closeness.
The racism.
The masks.
The fight for equality.
The people who mean something to us.
The sadness.
The good music.
Moving forward with feminism.
Things we never needed.
The lowering in infection rates.
The broken relationships.
So, what do we do now?